going on, YouTubers? Mopar Man here. Out here today working on the Plymouth Valiant. Decided to take a break on the heater box until I can get some more stuff for it. That's coming payday, some odds and ends. But anyway, the stuff I do have today that I'll be working on and featuring in this video is the wiper pivot assemblies, the housings. I've got the kit from year one for this Valiant and stuff, so let me show you what I've been doing here. Okay, I've already taken the as you can see, both the pivot shaft housings are out. And then you've got the wiper blade pivot arms for the pivot shaft housings. Anyway, what I went ahead and did was, before I took it out, I took a paint pen, when you shake up, that contractors use to mark stuff with. Anyway, got up underneath there, and like on this one here, I'll show you real quick. I picked one side. This is the driver's side, and what I did was I marked on the bottom of the lower cowl panel underneath the grate over there on the bottom side under the dash with some paint, and I made a symbol, and then I went ahead and painted one side of this so I know what side to line up when I do the reassembly. And then if I decide to take all these arms off, I made little symbols, and like this one here says D for driver's side, D for driver's side, and then I put a little square and a line over and a square to line, so I know when I put them back together if I get sidetracked and forget. And same thing with the bottom one, there's a square symbol, so this goes on the bottom and this one goes on the top. And then of course, wiper motor, this part goes to the wiper motor. That's pretty simple there. P for passenger side, and I put a dot just like this one here, so I know where it goes. Let's see, here we go. Yep, I don't know if you can see it there. P for passenger, and the dot lines back up. And then what I did was, when I take the stuff off, I make sure I put the clips, the clip and the washers and everything, the spacers where they're supposed to go, so I don't lose them. And then the next thing you got to, after you went underneath the dash and you marked certain symbols on certain things, like where was it on this one here? Yeah, like on this one, let's see if I can get out here in the sun. There's a, I put a line with a little plus symbol on there, and I did it on the bottom of that other panel too, underneath the dash. Anyway, the next thing is I got this kit for from year one. I don't know if you can see it in the light there. WP6265B, and then bold print XH84 wiper seal kit for 62 to 65 B body, and it also covers 63 to 66 A body. Anyway, I bought two of these kits, one for the Dodge Dart and one for the Valiant. Comes with the little pieces, two little strips of rubber or tar weather stripping. The foam seals that go on the back side, and then it's got these rubber rings, thick rings that go they basically slide up over where the wiper blade connects onto this, locks on to the pivot shaft. And that goes down here and gets squished up against the so anyway, there's instructions on how to do it. So basically the instructions show you let's see here. Yeah, so this part goes up underneath the dash, up against that lower panel underneath the cowl induction there, and that white sleeve, rubber, or the white foam gasket basically goes on there like that. And then what I'm going to do is I got some silicone seal, some 100% clear silicone seal. It's going to go in between both gaskets. And then it says strip caulk, which is basically that strip of basically tar. And that goes basically around this right here. And then it gets all squished up against there so nothing comes and leaks through. And just make sure that any of these mounting surfaces are 100% clean. They got no leftover sealant left on them. They're down to bare metal. They got them all cleaned up and they're wiped off, especially for that sheet metal surface, because that black tar material's got to go between the housing on the pivot shaft for the wiper and then up against the sheet metal underneath the dash. You got to make sure you get all that cleaned up. And then like I said, like that piece of foam there, thick piece of foam, it goes right up against this. And then it comes with 2 grease zerts, one for each pivot shaft housing. And then you just drill your hole, make sure you don't get any filings in there. You clean it out with a vacuum or something. And then you just be real careful and you thread those in. And you're done. And then what I do is, like I said, I use that super lube that you can buy online. And it comes in that large caulking tube that would come into something like this. And but it goes in your grease gun. And it's 100% silicone, thick silicone grease. And what I'm going to do is, once I get that grease zert put in, I've got to buy some more, and I'm going to fill this cavity inside full of that stuff, and that way it's guaranteed not to rust inside or clog up, and the rain won't be, any water from the car wash or rain showers or anything won't be able to leak down through there. But anyway, it's always good to read the instructions, because these aren't the typical grease zerts that you drill a hole but you don't thread them in. They press in, so you got to use a 3/16 drill bit. And it says you get the fitting lined up once you get the 3/16 hole drilled, and then it says use a 1/4 inch socket to protect the fitting as you install it. So I'm guessing you drill the hole, get that set up on there, and you get it just barely started, and then you use a socket, and then to help guide it in place, and then through the back side of the socket, I think you run like a punch or something down through the hole, and then tap it into place, and it's in there. So okay, so according to the photos in the instructions, you want to use either this flat side or flip it over and use this flat side. Never like do the sides or anything, because this is easier access. But anyway, and then they don't really give you the best photo So I would say I would come down maybe half an inch from underneath this plate here, this on the housing itself, maybe half an inch or 7/16. Let's take a look here, because I want to try to match this up as much as possible. Yeah, probably 7/16, right, give or take, right in there here. So you always start out with a real small bit as a guide bit, and then you work your way up to, they want they said to use a 3/16 bit. I got a 3/16 bit right here. So I'm not going to be able to hold the phone and drill at the same time, so when I come back I'll have the hole drilled. I'll show you that, and then I'll show you hopefully the grease zert being installed and what, or after the grease zert's installed. Alright, here we are. Tech tip: when you're drilling into the stuff that looks like pot metal or whatever this stuff is made of on this housing, I can't remember what size bit this is. I think it's like a 1/8 of an inch bit or something like that. Anyway, you're gonna have to drill a little bit, pull back out, tap the filings of the shavings out, and then you're gonna have to clean the tip of the bit off, because this metal, like when you're drilling with aluminum or grinding on aluminum with certain bits, it starts to clog the tip up, and you're gonna have to pick the flakes off the end of the that's stuck to the tip of the drill bit anyway. So I drilled all, and then I had to do that like several times. Drill a little bit, pull it out, tap the shavings out, drill, and then clean off the tip, drill a little bit more, and repeat the process until you get down to where it just starts to break through and the tip of the bit touches the pivot shaft inside, and then you're going to see what looks like little casting pieces in there, look like little shavings that's not quite broke off. So what you want to do, I don't know, I'm pretty sure I brought it out here. Hold on a minute. Yeah, okay, I found it. Take your X-Acto blade with the sharp tip on it, triangular tip, and you want to get down in there, or something else that can get down in there, and cut or break off them little flakes that are remaining in there. Tap that out and keep repeating the process. Okay, now I don't know if you can see it. There we go. I got the all the way down in there. I got up them little flakes that were left over from the back side of this housing, picked out of there, and now we're getting ready to go to the next size, which is I think it's 11/64. So anyway, stay tuned. Okay, so we got the hole drilled out even more, as you can see, and now we're going to switch to the 3/16 bit like we're supposed to. Yeah, it's important, once you get the holes drilled, make sure you clear down at the bottom, around the bottom edge, get all them little leftover filing shavings that are still stuck down there, cleaned out, cut out of the way, because that allows if you can't see it on camera, but if you look down in there, that I can see, between the pivot shaft and the housing, there's a gap. Goes all the way around in there. If you don't get that material cleaned out of there and you put the greaser in there, there's a chance that the grease won't be able to flow down and fill that cavity up around that pivot shaft inside the housing. But anyway, Okay, now this grease zert's a little bit different. See how it has what looks like a built-in wash around it, and it's not got any like a nut on there, like a six-sided deal, like the typical grease zerts. Okay, so what you do is it's got little barbs, kind of like what you do is on a brass fitting that you're sliding a fuel hose on, and you want to get it started, and then I find if you I've got a bunch of 1/4-inch drive sockets, long and short. As long as you get this on a nice flat surface, okay, so we're over here on the steps. Maybe I need to sit the other direction so you guys can see that better. Like I said, it's not showing up too good on my screen. There's the grease zert. I got it just barely stuck in there, lined up, and I'm using a 7/32 extended socket and a 1/4-inch drive, and it's just enough to fit over the head. And like I said, I can't, if I had a tripod or something, this might work better, but anyway, when I come back, I'll have this tapped in there. So anyway, here's the finished product. It's tapped in there and ready to have grease injected to help this thing pivot. Anyway, and till next time, look for more videos, and I'll get this, once I get this all prepped and put back in, and then go from there.